Good morning and welcome to The Point. It is the final day of 2020, Thursday, December 31st, 2020. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11 and 20, and good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9. This morning I am expecting to be joined by my colleague here at the GBN, Godfrey Augustine. He is not online as yet, but in the meantime, we're going to start the program in an open phone line kind of vibe. We won't have open phone line this week because tomorrow, God willing, is of course New Year's Day, which means there's no To The Point program. So before Godfrey joins us, or while we wait on him to join, we are going to open the phone line. We can continue the discussion we started this morning on Good Morning Grenada. Landline 435-2041. WhatsApp is also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp. You can also participate on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. We're going to open the phone lines until Godfrey joins the program. First caller. Good morning, caller.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Great. I want to wish you a happy New Year in advance.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Many happy returns.
Okay. As it relates to the Grenlec issue, I'm appalled and hurt and disappointed in that we in Grenada, we politicize everything. Any Grenadian that is patriotic, that understands business, that understands our history, that understands capitalism and slavery and racism, etc., would not have been opposing the government for repurchasing the shares in WRB. It's unfortunate that the NDC administration sold Grenlec under the conditions which it was sold. And in my honest and objective assessment, it is the worst business deal, the worst transaction that has taken place in this country since slavery. When Minister Bowen read, but prior to him reading out the conditions, I've heard about it and I've seen a copy of the Act, the Electricity Act. And Grenlec, under WRB, had more power than the Grenada Constitution, literally. They could have operated in that way. So I'm happy that the government has repurchased the majority shares. What I do not want is for it to be controlled by the state. Based on our culture and the politics in Grenada, whenever the state controls an entity, it is politicized. So I wish that does not happen, because as a people, we have not yet matured to that level, okay, where we can depoliticize sensitive issues. So I want to applaud them. I think it was good in negotiating. It was visionary. It was intelligence. And I know that the government has members of its team that are intellectually competent, regardless to what one may say, okay? And as a patriotic Grenadian, I'm sorry I didn't have the monies. Personally, I would have bought it. It should be owned by us, and not the exploitation and the abuse from WRB. They would have made back their profits, and everybody's in business to make profit, more than 40 times. Have they reinvested any significant sum into the new generation set? What have they contributed to the environment? What have they contributed? Even the rural electrification program what the government takes on or had taken on. WRB could have done more to electrify rural parts of Grenada. You drive through Grenada in the night, and the darkness is scary. Thanks for listening, miss.
Thank you very much, caller. And that would be the only open line, technically, that we can facilitate this morning. Godfrey has joined us via Zoom this morning, but we will continue, of course, the discussion on the Grenlec issue. Good morning, Godfrey.
Good morning, Blossom. How are you doing today?
I'm good. You're busy preparing to usher in 2021.
Well, I am prepared to face whatever comes and do what I can to, put myself in a position where I can cope, and do what has to be done.
Great. So, as I hinted, we will be talking this morning, of course, the hot topic. Yes, Mikhail. The hot topic, Grenlec, repurchasing of WRB shares. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, what do you think about the latest developments with the shares, including the news conference facilitated by Ministers Bowen and Joseph yesterday?
Blossom, I'll be honest with you. I deliberately refused to listen to the press conference because I did not trust myself. I was worried that I might started to believe a lot of things that Minister Bowen said. So I did not. It's better to prevent, So I didn't want to listen to him. However, I listened to GBN News, and I have a lot of confidence in the GBN News team. And I am certain that they, would have done what they were supposed to do, and I think they did. And so two things stood out for me as it relates to what Minister Gregory Bowen said. One, it was very shocking and worrying. In summary, is that, and I'm using my own words here, that Grenlec was not doing justice to the Grenadian people as it relates to the production of energy. He mentioned specifically that we are presently undergoing load shedding, and people do not know that. I remember that. And that to me it had me worrying. I told you before, Blossom, things like that make me get tired. So I decided to do a little research. And Blossom, I want to go back a bit because I think it is important that as a people, we need to understand a lot of things as it relates to what happens in our country. And at this point, I want to say thanks to my mother, because she, as difficult as it was, she was able to allow me the chance to get at least basic education, and so I can read. And so I did some reading. And Blossom, I want to go back to the year. It was 1990, when Sir Paul Schoon, as a matter of fact, let me just read this, all right, quickly. And you have to bear with me because I want to do a little reading because I don't want people to think that I'm saying what I want or what I feel. So I just want to read something quickly, and it says, Your Excellency, on the 2nd day of February 1990, by a warrant of appointment under Section 2 of the Commissions of Inquiry Ordinance, Cap 64 of the Revised Laws of Grenada 1958, you appointed me, Lindsay Irwin Worrell, GCM, to be the sole commissioner of a commission of inquiry and authorized me to make diligent inquiries into the conduct and management and overall operations of a number of entities: Grenada Rock and Asphalt, Grenada Gravel and Concrete, Grenada Electricity Services, and Central Water Commission. I will stop there. There were two others. But there's something unique there, Blossom. And it is interesting to note that Minister Gregory Bowen, the Honorable Minister of Finance, would say that we are undergoing load shedding. What a blatant, unadulterated lie by Minister Bowen. Let us recall, Grenada, the days before the privatization of Grenlec in 1994. Those were the days of load shedding. Those were the days of load shedding. And I want to go, Blossom, to page 50.
Before you go on, just explain for the people who may not understand what load shedding is, because I only recently found out as this thing unfolded. Explain what load shedding is.
Well, you see, and actually I was going to come to that, because unless I am ignorant and I have a different understanding of what load shedding is, then I don't know, because, and folks correct me if I'm wrong, because what I recall happened then and what was referred to as load shedding was the scheduling of electricity supply in different parts of the island. So you had to schedule it. You gave one place some, then you take it off and you give the next place. Now, and that is based on what I understood then. So unless Minister Bowen, in his capacity as minister or whatever, changed the definition of load shedding then this is what I understand it to mean.
Okay, so we're on the same page with the understanding.
If it remains, then I have difficulty understanding how we could be undergoing load shedding presently. Now, Boston, let me give you an example. I live in St. David, Bale Island, St. David, to be exact. I've been living here for over 3 years. And I can tell you, if I had loss of power 5 times, it was a lot. Right? And I can recall on one occasion it was because of some bad weather and a pole got badly damaged because of lightning. And in a matter of hours, that was rectified. The other time, I came home one afternoon and I saw a notice in my veranda from Grenlick advising that the following day, power will go between X amount of time. So they gave notice. Now, if that is not professional and efficiency, tell me what is. So I do not understand what Minister Bowen is talking about when he refers to we are undergoing load shedding presently. So Blossom, I just want to go to page 50 of the Worrell report, right? As a matter of fact, let me just move to 51 instead, because as I said, I really want to put this in context so that Ghanaian people could understand. And let me also say, Blossom, that I understand fully well that when people like Minister Joseph and the Prime Minister speak, I know that they are not speaking to people like me and others who question. It's fast, we fast, It's not with business, but we just put it in mouth where you belong. They're talking to us. It's fast, we frontish. We mining the 30,000 LNP business. But the fact is, because it is Grenada, they can't stop us, and I will continue to mind the business. So just as how they weren't talking to us in 2018 when the Prime Minister announced that we found oil in Grenada, and today, the final day of 2020, we are yet to see anything or hear anything regarding that. You see, that confirms to me that I know they were not talking to me and people like me. They were talking to those people who just jump up and ball ray, and say if they get a box from the PM, they would say, thank you. These are the people they are speaking to. Not to me and not to others, because I know better. And that's why I said earlier, Blossom, I have to thank my mother for allowing me the opportunity of a good education so I can read and understand. Let me go to page 51 of the Worrell report. Under section 8, it says, the minutes of the, and we're talking here about the Green Electricity Company. So folks, I'm not telling you what I want, I'm reading. The minutes of the board of directors show that Gregory Bowen and Dennis Campbell took management decisions without the prior approval of the board of directors and without adhering to the above procedures. As a result, the company has suffered considerable financial loss. Blossom, I want to put in context, and I want to go back or move forward quickly to page 140, and you will see what I'm talking about, because, it is time as a people we start understanding what is happening in our country and why these things are happening, right? Now, at a time when all of these things was happening in Grenlick, under the management of Mr. Gregory Bowen, Blossom, I'm looking at in 1989, caption, profit sharing calculations for management staff, 1989. And I would move right to the bottom. Gregory Bowen, $16,586.50. The difference between this, which was the highest sharing of profit, and the lowest was over $11,000, because the lowest went to someone called Clive Osten, who received $4,739. All right? So we see at a time when, look, let us also recall that it was the same Minister Bowen and Dennis Campbell who took decisions without approval from the board of directors to purchase all kinds of equipment, only to realize after, stowing it in a container, that the crankshaft of one of those generators was damaged, it rusted, it was not operable. And so they had to send to have it repaired at additional costs. That's the kind of thing that was happening under the management of Minister Gregory Bowen and Mr. Dennis Campbell. Now, it is also to note as an aside that Mr. Dennis Campbell, in the same Warren report, was the gentleman who wrecked CWC. In fact, the commission found that the man was arrogant, he was abusive to staff, and was not cooperative with the commission. It is all in the Warren report, and I'm asking people to please read it. Write this caption, Report of the Commission of Inquiry into the Conduct and Management of a Number of the Companies. So I'm saying all of that to see, Blossom, that when Minister Bowen comes now and says all these things about load shedding, who is he trying to fool? The 30,000 that they fool when they say that we found oil. It will not work. The time has come for we, the Grenadian people, to take a stand. All right? And the stand I'm referring to is to hold the government responsible and accountable for some of their actions. The other thing he spoke about when he was questioned on where the money was coming from, and he says that, well, basically the money was there. Okay, the money was there. But if the money was there, why you had to put teachers under so much pressure? Why you pay all the court cases that you lose? The same question was asked about the monies for the stimulus package when we were going through serious COVIDious times. Where this money came from? Well, you had it there, but so then were you complaining? No, I have to give it to them that in recent years, we've heard from the Prime Minister that they have had excesses in the collection of taxes. And a couple of times we've questioned that. So maybe yes, but it doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. Or then, if the money was there and you make people see so much trouble for their money, for their pension and their increases, you know, government fighting public workers, teachers, just for a little 1% and 2% increase. People who are working all kind of times, doing all kinds of things. And you had money there and you refused to pay them. Does that mean, so my question is, does that mean you had this whole Grenlec thing well planned out and you knew what you were going to do, so you held that money to pay Grenlec and boasting of savings? What savings? If you had all this money there, this $270 million, how come even up to today we do not know what the national debt is? And how come that no monies were allocated for debt payment? Well, no, I shouldn't say not allocated. But in previous years, we have seen debt allocation as the number one allocation in our budget. In this last budget, it was nowhere. It was not seen in the top 10 allocations. Why? There are a lot of things that is happening with this administration that are questionable. I cannot say that they corrupt. I cannot say that they work in bubble. I am saying there are lots of unanswered questions which they need to answer to the Grenadian people. It is wrong. People voted you into office and people expect you to do what is in the best interest of Grenada. And that is not happening. Grenada has served Grenada well in the past 20 plus years. After Minister Bowen was removed from the management of Grenlec, there were significant improvements in the supply of electricity. The load shedding stopped. Yes, you people may complain about rates, and everybody wants a better rate, but is Grenlec solely responsible? And note, I said the word, is Grenlec solely responsible for the price that we pay for electricity? No. It has a lot to do with the price of oil on the international market. And people know that. Just look at your bill. Look at your bill. And people don't understand. But many of us do not take the time off to understand But the people who we love, the leaders who we love, they say X and we jump up way. And we're not paying attention to some of the very serious issues that can affect us in the future. It is already affecting us, and why aren't we paying attention? In 1999, after NNP won all 15 seats, we saw the signs of what was happening until it got to a point where Grenadians got fed up and they voted them out. You know, the signs are here again. We are seeing them. Blossom, let me just go back again quickly. I want to go to page 98 and 99 of the World Report and hear what it says. And please, Grenadians, those of you who are listening, pay a little attention. Now, that was the summary. That was the summary of the report by Mr. Lindsay Worrell. And it says, it is recommended that the government give careful consideration to the appointment of directors, whether they be of statutory boards or of companies in which government has an interest, having regard to the authority which is vested in these persons and the responsibilities attaching to such offices. It is interesting to note the frequency with which the names of the following persons, and the names are Gregory Bowen, Dennis Campbell, Keith Braveboy, Winston Gabriel, appear either as directors or employees of the statutory bodies and companies under my investigation. And at times, I had cause to wonder if the national interests were best served. Another remarkable observation during the course of the inquiry, and this is important, Blossom, was the failure of the authorities to refer to the police. Let me say that again. And that's not my words. Those are the words of the Commissioner, Lindsay Owen Worrell, CGM. Another remarkable observation during the course of the inquiry was the failure of the authorities to refer to the police for investigating the disappearance of items from statutory boards and companies with the view of instituting criminal charges. And he says, this concludes the summary and recommendations in respect of the 6 statutory bodies, dated this 30th day of March, 1991. I have the honor to be Sir L.I. Worrell, Commissioner. Now, let's just look a little bit back here. The report mentioned why the authorities did not involve the police. Under which ministry did this statutory bodies fall? My question is, was it the Ministry of Works at the time? My other question, who was the Minister of Works at the time? It was the gentleman who is now our beloved Prime Minister, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Claudius Mitchell. At the time, he was the Minister of Work. The authority that the Commission suggested should have reported all these wrongdoings to the police, so criminal charges could have been placed. They were not. Who are the people in the Grenlec fiasco now? Let's look at it, folks. Are we seeing a pattern here? Are we seeing a pattern? Can somebody please tell me, what has Grenlec done wrong from 1994 as it relates to providing efficient electricity services to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique? Blossom, maybe we could take a little thing and let some people help me out here. Because I am still yet to get answers for these questions.
Before we take the break, another thing, well, I've kind of titled this version of To the Point, Make It Make Sense. So here's something else that I hope you can help make sense for me. In the news conference yesterday, the minister highlighted, I think it was Minister Bowen, that though government has repurchased the shares, Grenlec would still operate as a private company. That somehow does not make it make sense. Because to me, now that government, quote unquote, owns it, I find I own it too. How it could be private? Unless it's me that's...
Let me tell you something. Blossom, did you recall me telling you at the beginning, people like me and us, we just fast and we forward and frontish? They're not talking to us because we understand that he lied. We understand that he lied. It doesn't make any sense. So it's not who he talking to. He talking to the 30,000 people that jump up and board Ray when they say we find oil. That's who he talking to, not me. He can't be talking to me. He cannot be talking to me because I ain't stupid. I mean, look, Canadians, almost everything you want to find out in this day and age is online. The World Report is online. Go and check it out. It is there. Why did the Prime Minister think it would make sense to have Mr. Bowen, after the Royal Commission, after those recommendations that some of these actions should have been reported to the police? Why has the Prime Minister allowed Minister Bowen to still have interference with Grenlec? There are those who feel, I don't know, but you hear it from people. There are people who feel that the man has some kind of revenge he wants to take on WRB. You know, I don't know. I wouldn't know that. He never tell me that. But there are people who say that. I don't know how they know. I don't know how they know. And if you tell them or if people just say what they want. But it just doesn't make any sense. I have no problem with renewable energy. Because I think we all understand what is happening with climate change and how our carbon footprints are affecting, the layers and all. We know what is happening. We understand. We hear it all the time. So I have no problem. In fact, I endorse the issue of renewable energy. But Grenlec has served us well for the past 20 plus years. Couldn't the government engage Grenlec? If they were serious about serving the national interest, could they have engaged Grenlec in organizing this renewable energy thing? Why not? Why? You have to get other companies outside to do it? I don't understand. Those things baffled me. So to tell me this kind of thing about is going to be privately owned or run, and look, Minister, let me tell you something. When you're having those kind of press conferences, specify who you want coming in, because we ain't stupid. We're not stupid. And I am not saying that because I have any personal issue with any member of the government. As individuals, I respect them to the highest. But I am saying when it comes to matters of national interest, we as Grenadians, we have to be firm. We have to take interest in what is happening in our country, because it will affect us. It will affect our children, our grandchildren. We have to do it now. I always say that if our great-grandparents did not plant that nutmeg after Hurricane Janet, what's going to happen to us? So if we sit by and allow these things to happen in our country and don't take a stand, what is going to happen to us? What? We don't care about our generations to come? We have to care. I mean, these people, they are on their way out, They are on their way out. At some point, they are going to leave politics, and they would be resting comfortably, and all the troubles that they leave behind will fall on the backs of our grandchildren. So we have to pay attention. So I'm saying this with all honesty, not because I have any personal or ill feelings against the Prime Minister, nor the Minister of Finance, or any other minister for that matter. I am speaking because what is happening is of national importance, and we need, as a people, to take serious action and pay close attention to what is happening. We should not just sit by and allow these people to just do anything and say anything, and they can think it's okay. You didn't see Minister Bowen's face yesterday? You didn't see how his lip was looking tight when he said these things on him? And when Minister Joseph was trying to back him up with where they get the money from, every meeting he opened and he said one word, he watching Minister Bowen. I mean, come on. These things are wrong. If you have money there, let us use it in the best interest. Grenlec has served Grenada well. I heard a previous call this morning talking about what Grenlec do. I mean, they need to go and look at what is happening. Millions of dollars Grenlec has put into our communities. I know that. It's there, just look around. So let us not, you see, Blossom and Grenada, we tend to politicize everything because, well, for love of party. And that is a major problem we have in Grenada. We should not do that. And I always say, it does not mean that if you love a political party, you cannot criticize the wrongs that they are doing. It doesn't say that you do not support them or you do not like them. You basically want them to do what is in the best interest of Grenada. Someone told me yesterday, Blossom, and that's as an aside, that when you go to Publix Works in St. David's, you get a little walk on the road. If they don't know you are a supporter of the ruling party, they bring you in a room, they question you, and if they find out that you're supported, that you're not a supporter, that you ain't green, no work for you. The contracts are reserved for green people. Blossom, this is wrong. We are all Grenadians, and we are entitled to whatever happens in our country. When we campaign for an election, yes, it's about candidate and party. But after the election is over and a representative is selected, that person becomes the representative for the constituency. At that point, the party politics is over. You are representing the people of the constituency, everyone, not some. So we need to rise up and speak out about these things. There are people who are suffering, and there are those who are faring well because they support a certain political party. If a member of parliament say jump, you ask how high? Why? Why does that have to happen? I am not saying, and I know that government cannot provide jobs and benefits for everybody, but at least where you can, let's ensure that at least as much as possible, excuse me, Blossom, everyone benefits. That's the way it's supposed to be. Not some, all, when possible.
I remember there was a song, 3 Men Does Benefit. That's the first thing.
What than 3 now?
15?
What than 3 men does benefit now?
15 of them. This is To The Point. We're going to take a quick break and come back and continue the discussion. We're looking at the repurchasing of Shell's shares from WRB in relation to Grenlec. We've subtitled this program, Make It Make Sense. To The Point. We'll be right back.
Avoid the most common causes of spreading the flu. Cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue, dispose of it straight away, and either wash your hands or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Coughs and sneezes spread diseases, so cover coughs and sneezes, please. Not with a rag or bandana. They trap germs. When you use the rag again, you put germs on your hands and everything else you touch. When you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth and nose with tissue. Throw the tissue in a bin and wash your hands afterwards. If you don't have a tissue, cough into your sleeve or elbow. Alcohol-based hand sanitizers are also effective in cleaning hands.
Feel good facts.
Help prevent cold and flu by washing your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. That's the time it takes to remove most germs. No soap and water? No worries when you've got alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Welcome back to The Point, subtitled Make It Make Sense. With my colleague at the GBN, Mr. Godfrey Augustine, we're looking at the repurchasing of the Grenlec shares from WRB, which government announced earlier this week. Before we go to the landline, I'm going to ask a question that has been on my mind. It is posted once on Facebook and twice on WhatsApp. Make it make sense, Godfrey. Where is the leader of Her Majesty's opposition? It's been a week since this has come out.
I don't know. I really don't know. And I'll tell you, Blossom, I don't think people should be asking that. I'll tell you why. You see, and that's not the problem. We have a responsibility. You see what I'm doing here? I don't meddle about no leader of opposition. I am a Grenadian, born and bred from Tivoli in St. Andrew, right? And I love my country. And I am going to continue to speak about what I think is wrong. And so should every Grenadian. So don't wait. You see, the thing about politicians, they seek their own personal interests. That's what they do. So let us not wait on them, people. Join me. Let us speak out. We have the power. Let us speak. We have a voice and we know what's happening. Them fellas bold-faced, They don't hide to do things, They're bold-faced. So let us speak out. Let us not wait and ask about who. And they're a bunch of jokers. Them who, I know where the leader of the opposition is. The other one, they probably organizing some kind of luncheon or some kind of breakfast somewhere. That's what they bad. So we as a people, let us speak out. Let us call on our leaders to be transparent and accountable. The Warren report is there. Everything is there. You see, I particularly like the part, the summary, when the man said that Another remarkable observation during the course of the inquiry was a failure of the authorities to refer to the police for investigating the disappearance of those items. Now tell me why. If you are seeking, or if the authority for leaders are working in the best interests of the country and the people, and you have all these wrongdoings happening, and you fail to refer to the police for investigation, are you serving the best interests of the people? Are you? When people go on radio and say false things about the PM, he does so. And when he closes our whole newspaper because of wrongdoing. So why aren't our leaders reporting some of these wrongdoings to the police so they could investigate? Or the police threat? Look, people, this is about us. This is about 110,000 Grenadians. And if all of us, except the 14, put our voices together and rise up and call them out for the wrong that they are doing, they don't get their act together. They want to get their act together.
At this point in the program, we're going to invite our viewers and listeners who may have comments, questions, queries, concerns. This is your opportunity. I know the phones have been ringing for us since the program started, actually. We're going to try to keep our questions to 1 minute or less, considering the time, and to ensure that we can get to as many of them as possible. First caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
As soon as it's the 3 minutes, which is equal to 1.5 minutes, I get it. Tell me. Anyhow, I'm looking at generally as to people's opinion. And I'm underlining and putting it in bracket opinion. And I've always said that people say their opinion and they believe that the opinion are facts. Facts are facts, opinions are opinion. In other words, opinion means what you think. That don't mean to say what you say is right. It could be right. Facts are, what should I say, generalized idea. All over the world know 2 and 2 is 4, 5 and 5 is 10. And as I always said, recently I'm hearing now that the teachers are teaching, it depends on which base you use. And yet for us, so 2 and 2 sometimes not before. Okay. Now, a lot of us are expressing our opinion. Godfrey, I think, is expressing his opinion. I'm expressing mine, and other people are expressing theirs. So the only thing that are true, and maybe likely to be true, is generalization. When you put it to the test, now, everything that somebody does, he feels he's right in Grenada. I know. They are Mr. Noel or Mrs. Noel.
Okay.
And this is what I find so strange with us. A lot of things are happening, and people condone it and say it's right. But right and wrong is determined by the general consensus of a few people.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Godfrey?
I understand nothing more easy.
Okay. Let me go to the WhatsApp then. Somebody on WhatsApp is inquiring. What could my WhatsApp? Do you think yesterday a can of worms was opened? They need to investigate it. And where is the opposition leader in all this? Is he still chained in Parliament? Do you recall the Prime Minister went back to Parliament to get a supplementary budget as support to the budget he gave a few weeks ago when he was finance minister?
I don't recall. I remember in a previous budget, after I think about the first half of the year, they went back for some $100 million supplementary budget. But I don't recall if they went back recently. I didn't hear anything of that, unless it was done secretly. So I maybe, but I did not hear about it.
Yeah, I don't think there was a supplementary budget for this budget. That was maybe last year when Dr.
You know, as you mentioned budget Blossom. This last budget had significant shortfalls, right? So the money you had there, how come you have shortfall? How come you complain because of COVID and all this kind there were shortfalls, but you have put aside, what they had that money in, Blossom? Was that money in a bag, in a plastic, in a
briefcase,
suitcase, in something? Where that money was? Where that money was? I mean, you know, I don't know, but let me say this. Aside from the 30,000, there are a lot of intelligent people in Grenada. And Minister Bowen, just in case you probably don't realize it, I'm letting you know now. So when you go to a press conference like this and you make your utterances, be mindful that there are people who will understand what you're saying. They would be able to see through what you're saying and would understand that, as I said earlier, you ain't talking to us. You're talking to your 30 grand who does ball You know, it is sad that leaders who we put confidence in, and we had so much confidence that we give them a man 15 seats in our parliament, and they would turn around now and treat us like if we go to school in August. I mean, come on. But in the words of the tourism minister, we'll get through by the grace of God. She was always say that. By the grace of God, we'll get through.
Somebody on WhatsApp says, please correct Godfrey. Minister Bowen did not say that we are undergoing load shedding. He said because WRB did not invest in new equipment, we face the prospect of load shedding when the new team takes over. So quickly check the facts and save yourself a lawsuit.
Can we pull up the clip? Is there any way we could pull up the clip, Blossom? Well, if that, I humbly apologize. But nevertheless, the opportunity was not given to Grenlec to prove otherwise. So I guess if the person making that statement is correct, then so be it. I apologize if that's not what he said.
To me, that's what I heard too. I think I heard what you said, but
yeah,
maybe we both were wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody on Facebook is asking, do you think the government was wrong to repurchase the shares from WRB?
What was the reason? Do you have good reason to? Look, the mighty sparrow tell you if you have a formula that working, don't change it. And you know I believe in Calypso. What is the reason? What was the reason? Grenada was doing fine. We had no problems. If you have something that's not working, then you change it. When NDC wasn't working, then you change it. So what? But what my question is, what was Grenlec doing wrong? Where did Grenlec fail the people of Grenada as it relates to the provision of energy?
According to
so these are the questions I want answers.
According to the release from government was forced to repurchase those shares.
Forced how? Government went to parliament and passed some kind of act to do what kind of funny thing. That is why they end up in court and they lose like every other case. Government can't even win a cost case. Believe what I tell you, they can't even win a cost case. They're losing every case they get involved in. And we know that. You understand? So maybe they were saving that money there for another case they're losing to pay a lawsuit, but they end up having to spend it on Grenlec. Question, Blossom. Do you know if Miss Gemma Bain has been paid?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you know if Mr. Dorset Charles have been paid?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you know the people in Liver whose land was confiscated for that bubble up there, have they been paid?
Not to my knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Somebody on Facebook.
But the money was there. The money was there. They had it there.
Somebody on Facebook said the government probably got Susu hand. Not me that say somebody on Facebook.
Yeah, that's so?
Maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Godfrey, good morning. I think the
Morning,
money
caller.
they save it in the little plastic piggy bank. They had it saving. Godfrey, I just want to say this morning, if you give me 2 big bottles of gas, you know them big tall one, and I don't have to buy, me alone living in my house, and I don't have to buy gas for 5 years. Godfrey, tell me if you kill a man, if I could see you kill the man. Even though you kill the man outside there, Godfrey, and I will close my door and go inside because I have to study to watch me 2 big bottles of gas you buy for me there, you know. So some of us operating just like that, you know. Because we're getting a little something, you could do all the wrong in the world is right for you, you know. And I want to ask you, Godfrey, I know you know Bamba Mawiga. How life this man living? I find he look like he advising some of the government minister the way how they behaving, you know. Thinking everybody in this country do this. I feel this old man advising some of the government minister.
Okay.
Have a good morning, my brother.
Thank you very much, caller. Godfrey?
You know, people express how they feel, and I encourage them to speak and to, you know, because look, as I said earlier, Grenada belongs to all of us, and people should continue to speak out. So I want to encourage every Grenadian to speak. It doesn't matter who you support. Let us just think about Grenada for a moment. Let us think about our beautiful island, Isle of Spice, Pio Grenada, Spice Country, 473, all them nice names, let's call it. Let us think about that nice little rock, you know, and ensure by doing what we can to protect it. We have to, you know, because clearly there are those who are not serving the best interests of our country. They are focused on their own personal interests, and the rest, well, see how all they can make it. We give somebody the 30,000, a little 2 weeks on the road, a little 2 weeks here, a little 2 weeks there. We give them a food basket, and they're happy, they're satisfied because they think that's the goal. So, and they don't care about anybody else. You know, they have a majority, but I want to look serious. People, let us for a moment, please, let us just open our eyes. The signs are there before us, and then we see the signs, and we ignore it. And then later on, we come and say, if we know, let us not fall into that again. And I am not saying that because, and I want to emphasize, I am not saying that because I have any ill or personal feelings against anyone in the government. I am genuinely worried about our country and what could happen. The world is becoming more of a difficult place. We are a little island. Well, they say we have oil, but I don't know. We don't have gold. We don't have no precious metals. Agriculture, forget that. Tourism, forget that. What are we going to do? We need to think. We need to sit and think carefully and pay attention to what is happening. Because if we don't, we are going to run into serious problems. We do not want Grenada to become like Haiti. We don't want that, because if we end up in that situation, it is going to be problems. And I wonder whether our leaders think about these things. So people, don't be afraid. Our Prime Minister told us that no politician could do you anything. He said so. We have the recording. He said so. Call them out. So let us do that. We've gotten the instructions from the highest authority. Our Prime Minister, Dr. Mitchell, has told us so. Nobody can do us nothing. Since Dr. Mitchell says so, I'm talking straight to him. Because I know nobody can do me nothing. Because he told me that. So let us do that. Let us talk. And there is no limit to who or what we talk about, as long as we have the facts. Now, this is important. It is important that when you speak, you have the facts and you don't just say anything. Don't just go on social media and just take anything and say. Understand, get the facts, and let us use the facts in the interest of our country and our people.
Godfrey, thank you very much for coming onto the program this morning. Appreciate it, always appreciate it that you can come on and share your thoughts with us. Thank you so much. All the best for 2021. Remember, I'm going on vacation as of Monday, but once Joseph needs you, I'm sure he will call.
Well, thank you, Blossom. I just want to let the folks know that I'll be back on Monday as well. So when you go, I'll be back. And as soon as we come back, we're hitting the ground running. We continue on that Grand Lake issue, among other things. So, folks, get ready. I'll be back on Monday, and all our evening programming are back. All right? So, get ready. And I want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a very productive 2021. I thank everyone for supporting the GBN. You know, we continue to try to work hard to bring you programming that can, educate and uplift. We try our best to do that. And as I said, we like to hear from you. We'd like to hear from you because our purpose is to ensure that our listeners get the very best. So thank you once again, and we look forward to serving you again in 2021. All the best, and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. You enjoy yours as well in the confines of your yard space. Have a good day.
Yes. I'm using up a mortgage.
Amen. Thank you so much, Godfrey, and thank you, our viewers and listeners, for tuning in to The Point this morning, subtitled Make It Make Sense. That's the end of my time with you for today. For the year, actually, I'll be back with you in February 2021, once God spares and with his blessings. I am going on vacation as of Monday, God willing. Joseph Kado, JC, Mr. Kado, as he wants me to call him, will be taking over the morning programs. So please continue to give him your support. Thank you so much. All the best for 2021. Remember to enjoy the fireworks from the confines of your yard space. If you can't see the fireworks, light a candle. Have yourselves a good day.